Hi yogis, this is Mikey. This is a 60-minute slow flow video for your home practice. I'm here at home and I'll be practicing along with you guys. So grab any props that you might want. I've got some yoga blocks here. You can use your water bottle. Be sure to grab some water. Maybe a blanket, is padding for your knees. You might like to use it in some of the poses later on. So you can pause the video now, grab whatever props you need. Your Clorox wipes would make a good yoga block. And let's get started in Child's Pose. So take your knees wide, as wide as your mat. Bring your toes to touch. Walk your hands forward. Lay your forehead down on your mat. And just take a moment to arrive here on your mat. Begin to notice your breathing. And begin to notice the sounds in the room. So if a home practice is new for you, it is different. There are aspects of it that are different, and sounds and smells are some of those differences. So begin to tune in, begin to awaken your senses, open up your ears, listen to the noises in your space. Feel the air on your skin, the way your clothing feels on your skin. And then, if you haven't already, begin to turn on your Ujjayi breath. So audible sound as you inhale and exhale through your nose. And then we'll begin to make this a more active pose. So begin to walk your fingers forward to the top of your mat. Come up onto your fingertips. Lift your elbows up off of your mat. Pull your arm bones into your arm sockets. Feel all of the muscles on your back begin to turn on. And then sit your hips a little bit lower towards your heels, beginning to stretch through your side body. Begin to breathe more expansively into your side body, into your ribs. And then on an inhale, make your way up to tabletop,
7 p.m.
all fours. Bring your knees under your hips, your hands under your shoulders, spread your fingers wide, and begin to move through a few rounds of cat-cow, moving to your breath. So as you inhale, lift your chest, drop your belly, lift your tailbone, cow. As you exhale, puff up between your shoulders, tuck your tailbone, pull your belly button towards your spine, cat. And then if you'd like, you can take a little bit more free movement. So you can begin to roll your hips from side to side, soften your elbows. You can move your hands, turn your fingers out to the sides. Just begin to feel into your body. Yeah, so if you've been going in one direction, be sure to go in the opposite direction. And then come to neutral spine. Tuck your toes, Lift your hips up to the ceiling, downward facing dog. And recheck your foundation. So spread your fingers wide, spread your toes wide. Soften your knees and spin your inner ankles towards the back of your mat and up towards the ceiling. So inward rotation of your legs, then soften your heels down towards your mat. On an inhale, lift your heels up to the ceiling. Take 10 little tiny baby steps. Walk your feet to meet your hands. Keep pushing through your hands, lengthen through your side body. And when you come to the top of your mat, take ragdoll. So ragdoll, feet at hip width distance. Take opposite elbows, let your head hang. You can rock gently from side to side. And here, bring your attention to your feet. Push the big toe mounds of your feet down into the ground. Feel your arches lift up. Spin your inner ankles towards the back of your mat. Pull your belly button up towards your spine. Maybe you hang a little bit deeper. And then release your hands. Bind your hands at your lower back. Take a breath in. Lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Allow your bound hands to fall over your head. You can shake your head, yes and no. A gentle rock here. And begin to push your hands towards each other. Squeeze your elbows towards each other. Pull your shoulder blades onto your spine. So a little bit more active. Feel the stretch across your collarbones. And then release your bind. Slowly roll your spine up to stand, stacking one vertebrae on top of the next. Take your time. Allow your head to be the last part of your body that lifts. Bring your toes to touch. Leave a slight gap between your heels. Inhale your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands to prayer. We'll open our practice with 3 yums. First, a clearing breath. Breathe in through your nose. Open your mouth, let it go. Inhale to Open your eyes. Inhale, circle sweep your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Place your hands on your shins. Push your hands into your shins. Roll your shoulder blades onto your back. Take a breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to high plank. Pause here. You can lower your knees. Pull your belly button up towards your spine. Spread your fingers wide. Push into your hands. Puff up between your shoulder blades. And then lift your ears to be in alignment with your shoulders. Long, straight neck. On an inhale, shift your weight forward. On an exhale, slowly lower yourself all the way down to your mat. Inhale up, low cobra. Exhale, lower your forehead down to your mat. Inhale up, low cobra. Exhale, lower your forehead down to your mat. Inhale up, low cobra. Pause here. This time float your hands up off of your mat. Push down into your feet. Lift your chest up towards the ceiling. On an exhale, lower your forehead down to your mat. Inhale up, low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. So again, spread your fingers wide. Spread your toes wide. Begin to push into your hands. Spin your armpits down towards your ears. And then soften the spot behind your heart down towards the ground. And breathe. On an inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees. Step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up to stand. Reach your arms to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Hands to mat, step back to high plank. This time, shift your weight forward, just lower 3 inches. Pause here. Hug your belly button up towards your spine. On an inhale, you can lower all the way to low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in through your nose. Open your mouth side out. Breathe in through your nose. Out through your nose. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, lift your heels. Bend your knees. Step or hop to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise up to stand. Push down into your feet. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Full breath in. Exhale, hands to mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog or low cobra. Downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Full expansive breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, rise your heels. Bend your knees. Step or hop to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise up to stand. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up towards the ceiling. Bend your knee, stack your right hip over your left hip. Stretch through your right side body. Push evenly through both hands. And then push through your left foot. Lift your left hip up towards the ceiling. And then peel open your right hip a little bit more. On an inhale, straighten your right leg. On an exhale, curl your knee into your nose. Plant your right foot at your hands. Lower your back knee. Come up to Crescent Lunge. Place your hands on your right thigh. And then begin to draw your right heel back as you push your hips forward and down. So lengthening through the left front hip. Keep your core engaged. Pull your belly button in and up. Maybe you can sit a little bit lower. On an exhale, push back into half Hanuman. So flex your right toes towards your face. Here your hands can come down to a block. And bring your your hip behind your left knee. So your left knee is just slightly in front. And then think about broadening or rotating your inner thighs in and to the back of your mat. Then you can begin to soften your head, relax your neck. And then on an inhale, shift forward. Plant your hands to frame your foot. Step your right leg back to high plank. Lift your hips up, downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling. Then bend your knee. Stack your left hip over your right hip. Push evenly through both hands so your shoulders are square to the front of your mat. Then there's this balance here of softening your right heel towards the ground, but pushing through the ball of your right foot to lift your right hip up to the ceiling. Then lift your left knee a little bit higher. Stretch through your left side body. On an inhale, straighten your leg. Exhale, curl your left knee in towards your chest. Step your left leg forward. Lower your right leg. Inhale up. Crescent lunge, place your hands on your thighs. Draw your left heel towards the back of your mat. So you'll pull your hips forward and then you can soften down. Keep your legs strong and active. So think about pushing down through your right leg as you continue to pull your left heel back and push through the ball of your left foot and your left heel. On an exhale, shift back into half Hanuman. So your hips are slightly behind your knee. And here, try tucking your toes and pushing through your right toes. So your pinky toe and your big toe evenly. Just notice what that muscular activation does in your leg and how it changes the stretch. Flex your left toes towards your face. Broaden your sit bones behind you. And you can soften your head. Notice if you're gripping with your teeth. Relax your face. And breathe. On an inhale, shift forward. Lift your back knee. Step your right leg forward to meet your left leg. Bring your toes to touch, slight gap between your heels. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale up to chair pose. So chair pose, toes are touching unless you're modifying on purpose, slight gap between your heels. Bring your hands to your hips. Get your thumbs into your hip creases and begin to rotate your inner thighs in and back as you broaden your sit bones behind you. And then from there, rock your way back into your heels a little bit more. Lift your toes up off of your mat. Spread your toes wide. Sit your hips a little bit lower. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. And then from here, slowly begin to lift your arms up to the ceiling. Keep your core engaged. And breathe. Take a breath in, look up to your hands. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, chaturanga. Upward facing dog or low cobra. Downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, curl your knee into your nose. Step your right leg forward. Inhale up, warrior one. So first, warrior pose of the day. You can adjust your stance and find the stance that allows you to begin to square your hips towards the front edge of your mat. So you might take a wider stance. So heels at hip width. And you can begin to bring your hands to your hips, pull your right hip back, push your left hip forward, place your left hand on the front of your left thigh, breathe into your hand. Then reach your arms up to the ceiling. On an exhale, open up to warrior two. So warrior two, right leg forward, maybe a wider stance. See if you can get your right knee over your right ankle. Push down through your feet. Squeeze your legs in towards center. Light up both legs. Pull your belly button in and up. On an inhale, flip your right palm, reach up and back. Exalted warrior. Stay for the exhale. Stay low in your front leg. Open up through your right ribs. Take a breath in. Exhale, hands to mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, curl your knee into your nose. Step your left leg forward. Inhale up, warrior one. And then again here, you can bring your hands to your hips. And begin to square your hips to the front of your mat. You might not get your hips square, that's pretty likely. Notice as you begin to use your hands to square your hips, how your legs engage. So push through the outside edge of your right leg. Draw your left heel back. Sit your hips a little bit lower. Place your right hand on the front side of your right hip. Breathe into that. Breathe into your hand. You might even feel your pulse beating there. Then on inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, open, warrior two. So maybe a longer stance, so wiggle your toes forward. Squeeze your legs into center. Active, energetically through your fingers, front and back, spread your fingers wide. And breathe. And then on an inhale, flip your palm, reach up and back. Reverse warrior. So here, you can see if you can stay low in your legs. Trust your legs. Keep squeezing your legs in towards each other, grounding down through your feet. Take a breath in. Exhale. Cartwheel your hands to your mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, let it go. And then breathe in through your nose. Out through your nose. Come back to your foundation, spread your fingers wide, spread your toes wide, your feet are at hip width distance. And then on an inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, step or hop to the front of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, full breath in. Exhale, hands to mat, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up to the ceiling. Exhale, curl your knee into your nose. Place your right foot down. Inhale up, warrior one. Exhale, open, warrior two. Inhale, reach up and back, exalted warrior. Exhale, hands to mat, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling. Curl your knee in towards your nose. Step your left leg forward. Inhale up, warrior one. Exhale, open, warrior two. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, hands to mat, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, let it go. Breathe in through your nose. Out through your nose. Bring your toes to touch at the back of your mat. Inhale your right leg up towards the ceiling. Bend your knee. Stack your right hip over your left hip. Stay here or flip your dog. So your feet are at hip width distance. Bring your right hand to the back of your head. Pull your shoulder blades onto your back. Lift your chest towards the front of your mat. On an exhale, flip back over. And then take side plank. Right hand down, left hand up. Here you can lower your right knee. Option to float. Option to float your left leg. Take a breath in. Exhale, hands to mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Bring your toes to touch. Inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling. Bend your knee, stack your hip. And stay here or flip your dog. So toes on parallel tracks facing the back of your mat. Bring your left hand to the back of your head. Lift your chest up to the ceiling. Push down through your grounded hand. On an exhale, flip back over. Side plank, left hand down, right hand up. Keep your core engaged. And see if you can lift your hips. So drive through your hands, drive through your feet. On an exhale, hands to the mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Child's pose. So take 5 full rounds of breath in child's pose. Take this opportunity to come back into your breath. So notice if your breath is moving faster, you are working hard. Notice if your thoughts are moving a little bit faster. And then come back into your body. Come back onto your mat. Feel your forehead down on your mat. Feel your fingers spread wide, the texture of your mat under your hands. Feel your breath moving expansively through your ribs, your back, your hips. and make your way back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels up to the ceiling, bend your knees. Step to the front of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose. Bring your hands to prepare your chest. Take a breath in. Exhale, twist to your right. So your left elbow comes over your right knee. Notice if one knee is popping out, so here usually the left knee pops out, pull your left knee back. And then rock your weight towards your heels, sit your hips a little bit lower, lift your chest up towards the ceiling. You can begin to turn your gaze up. On an exhale, fold forward. Bring your feet to hip width distance. Wrap your peace fingers, index and middle fingers around your big toes. Take a breath in, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Let your head be heavy. A gentle shake, yes and no. If you want, you can begin to pull up on your toes as you push down into your fingers and pull your chest towards your shins. Then release your fingers, heel toe your feet to touch. Slight gap between your heels. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Chair pose. Bring your hands to prayer at your chest. Take a breath in. Twist to your left. So push into your hands, push your elbow into your knee, and then lift your chest up towards your thumbs. Pull your shoulder blades onto your spine. Sit your hips a little bit lower. Take a breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Heel toe, your feet out to hip width distance. This time take gorilla pose. So you'll slide the palms of your hands under the balls of your feet. Here, soft knees. See if you can get your entire back hand down on your mat. And you can wiggle your toes, let your head be heavy. Let go of any tension in your shoulders. And breathe. Ujjayi breath in. Ujjayi breath out. Ujjayi breath in. Ujjayi breath out. And then release your hands. With your feet at hip width distance, begin to push down into your feet and begin to slowly rise up to stand. Take your time. Bring your toes to touch. Slight gap between your heels. Inhale your arms up to the ceiling. Eagle pose, right side. Right arm under, right leg over. Lift your elbows up off of your chest. Spread your fingers wide. On an exhale, release. Inhale your arms up to the ceiling. Eagle pose, left side. Left arm under, left leg over. Squeeze your thighs in towards each other. You might fall out. That's okay. So keep squeezing your thighs together. Spread your fingers wide. Exhale, release. Inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Standing leg raise, right side. So lift your right knee up towards your chest. Take the outside of your right knee. If it's in your practice, you can take your toe and extend. When you're ready, open up. So leg out to the right, hand out to the left, and then see if you can bring your gaze into the palm of your left hand. Keep pulling your belly button in towards your spine and up. And then on an exhale, come back to center. Inhale, reach your arms up. Extend your lifted leg. Exhale, kick back into airplane pose. So palms spin down, reach your hands towards the back of your mat. Lift your chest above your hips. And then come to half moon. So you can grab a block. You'll place the block on the outside of your left pinky toes, about a foot in front. You'll reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Flex your right toes towards your face. And breathe. On an exhale, step your right leg forward. Come up to a stand. And we'll switch sides. Standing leg raise, left side. So take your knee, reach your arm up. When you're ready, open up. On an exhale, come back to center. Reach your arms up to the ceiling. Extend your lifted leg. Exhale, kick back. Airplane pose. So here, see if you can get your hips to be parallel with the ground. You might not be able to lift your leg as high, that's okay. Spin your left pinky toes down, and then lift your chest up towards the front of the room. So cow tilt in your lower back and through your chest. On an exhale, open up half moon. Yeah, so your hands on a block here are very helpful. Outside of your right toes, about a foot in front, so that your hand comes under your shoulder. And see if you can lighten the load on your bottom hand. Trust your core to lift your body. Take a breath in. Exhale, step your left leg forward. Come on up to a stand. Take a moment, take Tadasana, mountain pose. You can take your feet to hip width distance or toes touching. Spin your palms forward. Rock your weight into your heels. See if you can get your hips over your heels. So for most of us, we tilt forward. There's a rocking back. Think about broadening your sit bones behind you. That broadening of your sit bones brings some curve into your lower back. And if your ribs pop out, knit your ribs, your lower ribs towards your pelvis. Lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Tree pose, right side. Bring your right foot in to your left thigh. Bring your hands to prepare your chest in it. You can also bring your foot to your calf. Maybe you kickstand. Push into your hands. Find your center. Pull your belly button in and up. Push your lifted foot into your leg, your standing leg. Then if you like, reach your arms up to the ceiling. And then notice if you're holding your breath here in your balance pose. Allow your breath to come back and be expansive. And on an exhale, bring your hands to prayer at your chest. Release your foot down. Switch sides. Tree pose, left side. So find the appropriate leg variation. Squeeze your hands into each other and see if you can even out the pressure that you are applying with your lifted foot. So across the entire sole of your foot, it's pretty even. Not because it's better, but to bring awareness to what is required to create that experience. And then if you like, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Keep your core engaged. Notice if you're pushing your hips forward or if you're pushing your hips back. See if you can get your hips over your heel. Take a breath in and a breath out. Ujjayi, breath in. Ujjayi, breath out. Lower your leg. Inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Plant your hands, step back to high push-up. You can push straight back to downward dog, or you can flow through a vinyasa. From downward facing dog, inhale your right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, step your right leg to your hands. Come on into warrior two. And then straighten your right leg, reach your right hand towards the front of your mat. Kick your left hip back. When you can't reach any further, lower your hand to your shin. Reach your left hand up towards the ceiling. Push down through the outside edge of your left foot. Push down into the big toe mound of your right foot. Think about drawing your right hip or pulling your right hip back under your body a little bit more. And then twist from your core. So think about opening up your chest towards your left side. And then with a strong core, rise up to stand. You'll point your toes to face one side of your mat here. So we'll take a wide-legged straddle fold. Bring your hands to your hips, take a breath in, lift your chest. Exhale, pull your belly button in towards your spine, fold forward. Broaden your sits bones behind you, soften your knees a little bit. Let your head hang heavy. Walk your hands under your shoulders. Inhale, lift halfway. Bring your hands to your hips with a strong back. Rise up to stand. Set up for pyramid pose. Right side, so right leg forward, but a leg's length distance between your left and right leg. And then step your left leg out towards the left a few inches so that your heels are at hip width distance. And then bring your hands to your hips. Square your hips towards the front of the room. Reach your left hand up towards the ceiling. On an exhale, begin to fold forward. Reach your left hand forward. Push into your right hip. Push your right hip back. Come to a halfway lift. Hold here for a moment. Pull your belly button up towards your spine. And then from here, we'll twist to the right. So you'll lower your hand to your block or your shin. And then you can reach your right hand up towards the ceiling. So here, think about pushing your sits bones behind you, and then see if you can find some cow tilt in your lower back. Pull your shoulder blades onto your spine. Then on an exhale, lower your hands down to your mat. Step your right leg back. You can flow through a vinyasa or push straight back to downward facing dog. From here, on an inhale, lift your left heel up towards the ceiling. Exhale, step your left foot to your hands. Coming up, warrior two. I will show it from this side here. So warrior two, long stance. Straighten your left leg, reach your left hand forward. Pull your left hip under your body. Kick your right hip back. You can't reach anymore. Lower your left hand, reach your right hand up. And then see if you can lengthen through your left side body. So you might need to bring your hand further up your shin to make that happen. Keep your core engaged. So keep pulling your belly button in, and then begin to open your chest. Spread your fingers wide. And you can soften your knee. rise up to a stand. Again, point your toes to one side of your mat. Pigeon toe slightly here, so toes in slightly wider than heels. This time take a bind. So clasp your hands at your lower back. On an inhale, push your fingers, your knuckles down towards your mat. Lift your chest. Exhale, fold forward. Let your hands fall over your head. Shake your head yes, no. And then here begin to soften your knees and rock a little bit of weight, a little bit more weight into the balls of your feet. Notice if you're gripping, see if you can relax your toes, rock your weight forward. Notice the change in the stretch. Then release your bind, walk your hands under your shoulders. Inhale, lift halfway. Bring your hands to your hips with a strong back. Rise up to stand. Set up for pyramid pose left side. So legs about a leg's length distance apart. Heels at about hip width distance. Your right toes point towards the upper right corner of your mat. Square your hips. Reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Your left hand is on your left hip. On an exhale, begin to fold forward over your mostly straight left leg. Push your left hip back, reach your right hand forward, come to a halfway lift. And then from here, you can twist. Lower your right hand to your ankle or a block on the inside of your left leg. Reach your left hand up. Three full rounds of breath here. So see if you can breathe into the twist. Breathe into the middle of your back. Breathe into your open right ribs. On an exhale, bring your hands down to your mat. Step your left leg back, lower yourself all the way down to your mat. Place one cheek down, hands by your side, and rest. Take a moment here just to allow your body to be heavy. Notice your breath. It's a quick rest, but it's part of the practice too, to take advantage of these opportunities to really let go. And then we'll come back into the work. So turn your forehead towards center. Spin your palms down towards the ground. Feet at hip width distance. On an inhale, come up to Locust Pose. So lift everything up off of your mat. So inward rotation of your legs here. So think about spinning your pinky toes down towards your mat. Relax your glutes and then lift your legs a little bit higher using your hamstrings. Pull your shoulder blades onto your spine. Reach your fingertips back. Exhale, lower your forehead down. You can wiggle your hips from side to side. And then come on up, locust number 2. Full expansive breaths here. Let your breath lift you. Pull your belly button up towards your spine. Keep your core engaged. One more breath in. Exhale, lower your forehead down. Put your cheek down. Wiggle your hips from side to side. And then bend your feet. Reach back for your hands. You can take another locust, so if you're ready, come into forebow. So begin to kick into your hands. Lift your chest up off of your mat. Squeeze your knees towards each other like you're hugging a block. So knees at hip width distance. Then begin to kick into your hands a little bit more. Open your chest, take a breath in. Exhale, lower your head to your mat. Windshield wiper your feet from side to side. And then flip onto your back. And set up for bridge pose. So bridge pose, your heels are in just close enough so that you can graze them with your middle fingers. Feet at hip width distance, toes pointing 12 o'clock towards the bottom of your mat. Then on an inhale, lift your hips up to the ceiling.
Drag your heels towards your shoulders. Push your knees towards the bottom of your mat, so away from you. Then lift your hips up, knit your ribs towards each other, then you can walk your hands under you, take a bind. If you got the bind, lift your chest towards above your head. And then on an inhale, come up onto your tippy toes, reach your arms up, slowly lower down. Take a breath in and a breath out. And then come on up, another bridge, or if you're ready, you can come on up into wheel. So wheel, you can plant your hands at your shoulders, push down through your feet, push your hands down, lift your hips up. I'm gonna take a bridge. So bridge or wheel for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower down and take Supta Baddha Konasana. So knees wide, soles of feet touching. Then bring some curve under your lower back, so wiggle your hips up towards your shoulders. You can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Full, expansive Ujjayi breath here. Feel your heart beating under your hands. Feel your breath move in both directions from your belly towards your chest and from your chest towards your belly. And take Happy Baby. You can also take Happy Buddha here, hands on the backs of your thighs. From Happy Baby, push your feet up towards the ceiling, pull your feet down with your hands. You're kicking into your hands, draw your shoulder blades down towards your mat. Draw your lower back energetically down towards your mat, so a long straight spine. And you can begin to gently rock from side to side. And then we'll take figure 4 on our backs. So you will cross your right thigh over your right ankle over your left thigh. You're gonna reach through the gap here for the back of your thigh, maybe the back of your shin. Flex your right toes towards your knee. And see if you can relax your shoulders. Relax your face, relax your eyes. And then from here, we'll take a twist. So lower the sole of your left foot down. Keep your right leg crossed over your right thigh. Cactus your arms. And then lift your hips and shift your hips 3 inches over towards your right. And then from there, you can begin to lower the sole of your right foot down and the outside of your left thigh down. And then you can turn your head towards the right. So full twist of your spine. See if you can relax your right shoulder down towards the ground. And then come back to center and we'll switch sides. So place your hips, cross your left ankle over your right thigh, And reach through the gap. Maybe for your shin, flex your left toes. And for fun, you can try unflexing your toes. Just relax your foot for a moment. Notice what muscles in your left leg, what changes, what shifts, what softens. And then reflex your toes. Feel what realigns, what reintegrates when you take this action. As we begin to wind down, there may be less effort in your breath, but maintain a soft focus on steady inhales and exhales, so your ujjayi practice is still present. And then lower your right foot down, and we'll take the twist. So cactus your arms, push down into your right foot, shift your hips over 3 inches to the left, and then lower the sole of your left foot down, the outside of your right thigh. You can bring your head over to the left side, full twist of your spine. All right, come back up to center, uncross your legs. And you should be kind of normal on your mat. Rock and roll the length of your spine a few times. Just gently building momentum until you come up to a seat. And then reach your feet forward. Take a forward fold here. Pull the fleshy bits away from your sits bones. Flex your toes towards your face. On an inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. You can soften your knees here. Keep your toes flexed. And then relax your neck. On an inhale, lift halfway to come out. Stand your feet up on your mat. Reach your hands forward. And then slowly begin to curl your spine down. See how slowly you can go. Use your core. Keep reaching your hands forward. And come down onto your back. And we'll take fish pose. So you'll bring your hands. You'll make a W with your thumbs under your sits bones. Come up onto your elbows. Lift your chest up to the ceiling. Point your toes away from your head. Lift your chest. Take a breath in through your nose. Open your mouth side out. Take a breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, let it go. Lower yourself down onto your mat. Shavasana, final pose. Let go of your breath practice. You can turn your palms up towards the ceiling and gently wiggle your shoulders under you. So a gentle opening across your chest. Let your feet fall out to the sides.
Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth, let it go. Curl your knees in towards your chest. Roll over onto your right side. Fetal pose. Let your body be heavy. And then use your arms to come up to an easy seat. You might sit up on a block, might roll a blanket. Cross-legged is fine. And bring your hands to prayer at your chest. Sit up tall. So ground down through your sits bones, lift the crown of your head up, lift your chest and ribs up towards the ceiling. And we'll close our practice with one of Lift your thumbs to your forehead center. Namaste. Well, thank you everyone for practicing with me. I hope you guys all stay safe and look forward to seeing you guys again in the studio. So take care.